Yellow is nature's warning label and its dinner bell all at once. It screams ripe, sweet, eat me, and stay back. I might just poison you in the same breath. No other color in the produce aisle pulls double duty quite like it. From cactus fruit to citrus to a melon that's older than the one you grew up eating, yellow shows up in more places than most people realize. Here is every yellow fruit explained. Banana. The banana is the fruit equivalent of a best friend who's always around but never gets enough credit. It's technically a berry, while strawberries are not, which is the kind of fact that ends dinner party arguments. Bananas don't grow on trees either. The plant is classified as the world's largest herb, since it has no woody trunk, just a tightly wrapped stalk of leaves pretending to be bark. Wild bananas are packed with hard seeds, and the seedless yellow banana on your counter exists only because humans kept cloning a mutant version for thousands of years. Every banana you've ever eaten is a genetic copy of the same plant. That's not a metaphor. That's just how bananas work. It's also why the entire global supply is vulnerable to a single disease, since a fungus that wipes out one banana can theoretically wipe out all of them. Bananas also ripen faster next to other fruit because they release ethylene gas, an invisible chemical signal that tells nearby produce to hurry up and ripen too, which is exactly why one overripe banana can take down an entire fruit bowl overnight. Lemon. Lemons are sourness weaponized into a fruit shape. A single lemon can carry roughly 30 milligrams of vitamin C, which is why sailors once treated them like gold, and citrus rations kept scurvy from wiping out entire crews. The lemon tree can flower and fruit at the same time, so it's entirely normal to see blossoms and ripe lemons hanging side by side on one branch. And here's the twist. Lemons started out green. The yellow only shows up once cooler temperatures trigger the chlorophyll to break down, unmasking the yellow pigments that were hiding underneath the whole time. A single lemon tree can produce fruit for decades, sometimes more than 50 years. And a healthy tree can drop hundreds of lemons in a single season without ever taking a year off. Lemon trees are also unusually indecisive about the calendar, sometimes flowering multiple times a year instead of sticking to one clean growing season like most fruit trees do. Pineapple. A pineapple isn't one fruit. It's dozens of tiny fruits fused into a single spiky tower. Each hexagonal segment on the surface represents its own individual flower that got fertilized and grew together. It takes close to 2 years for a pineapple plant to produce a single mature fruit, which makes every grocery store pineapple a small miracle of patience. Pineapples also contain bromelain, an enzyme so aggressive at breaking down protein that it can literally digest your tongue while you eat it, which is why fresh pineapple sometimes leaves your mouth tingling like it's fighting back. That same enzyme is why pineapple ruins gelatin desserts, breaking down the proteins that gelatin needs to set unless it's cooked first. Pineapples were once so rare and expensive in colonial Europe and America that wealthy hosts would rent one just to display at a dinner party without anyone actually being allowed to eat it. Mango. Mangoes have been cultivated for more than 4,000 years, making them one of the oldest fruits humans have deliberately grown rather than just foraged. India alone produces roughly half the world's mango supply, and the fruit is so central to the culture there that it's the national fruit. Mangoes are also part of the same botanical family as cashews and pistachios, which explains why some people with nut allergies react to mango skin. The flesh clings to a flat, fibrous pit shaped almost like a hairy tongue depressor, and no amount of practice ever seems to make peeling one less messy. Mango trees can also live for centuries, with some specimens in India still bearing fruit after more than 300 years, and a single mature tree can produce thousands of mangoes in a good season. Star fruit. Slice a star fruit crosswise, and you get a perfect 5-pointed star, no carving required. It's why the fruit, officially called carambola, earned its nickname without any marketing help. The waxy yellow skin is completely edible, and the whole fruit tastes like a strange blend of pear, green grape, and citrus depending on ripeness. Star fruit trees can bloom up to 4 times a year, which means a single tree can hand out multiple harvests in 12 months. One serious warning worth knowing, though, is that people with kidney disease should avoid starfruit entirely, since a natural neurotoxin in the fruit can build up dangerously when kidneys can't filter it out. For everyone else, it's a genuine crowd pleaser. Golden kiwi. Golden kiwi is the sleeker, smoother-skinned cousin of the fuzzy green kiwi everyone grew up with. It has no fuzz at all, just thin bronze skin you can eat straight off the fruit, and it tastes noticeably sweeter and less tart than its green relative. Gold kiwis often pack even more vitamin C than the classic green variety, with some studies measuring over 160 milligrams in a single fruit. A recent study even had participants eat 2 golden kiwis a day for 8 weeks and found measurable improvements in skin thickness and collagen production. Not bad for something that looks like a smooth little egg. Golden kiwi originated in China before New Zealand growers popularized it commercially. And its flavor is often compared to a blend of pineapple and mango, which explains why it converts so many kiwi skeptics on the first bite. Its yellow flesh also carries slightly more antioxidants gram for gram than the green variety, thanks to a higher concentration of polyphenols. Yellow dragon fruit. Forget the pink-skinned dragon fruit you see at every juice bar. The yellow version is rarer, smaller, and by nearly every account the sweetest of the bunch. It grows on a climbing cactus, of all things, covered in knobby little spines when young that fall away as the fruit ripens from green into a glowing gold. Inside is pale, almost translucent flesh dotted with crunchy black seeds, and the flavor carries floral, tangy notes that pink dragon fruit simply doesn't have. It's also one of the rarer fruits in American grocery stores, since one especially prized variety nearly went extinct back in 2014 due to disease. It grows mostly in Ecuador and Colombia, where the plant's climbing stems sprawl over trellises and trees, stretching out over 6 meters as it searches for support to grow along. Because the spines are sharp when the fruit is young, growers typically wait for them to soften and brush away naturally before ever handling it barehanded. Papaya. Papaya trees can grow from seed to fruit-bearing adult in less than a year, which is almost unheard of in the fruit world. The fruit contains papain, an enzyme so effective at tenderizing meat that it's been used commercially in meat tenderizer powders for decades. Papaya seeds are edible too, with a sharp, peppery bite that some people grind up as a pepper substitute. Christopher Columbus reportedly called papaya the fruit of the angels, which is a lot of pressure for something that's mostly known today as a smoothie ingredient. Unripe green papaya is a completely different ingredient in its own right. It is used shredded and raw in Southeast Asian salads long before it ever gets the chance to turn yellow and sweet. The black seeds clustered in the center look almost like caviar, and some home cooks dry and grind them into a homemade seasoning blend. Yellow watermelon. Yellow watermelon isn't some genetically modified oddity. It's actually the older, more traditional variety. The red watermelon most people know today was bred from yellow and white ancestors. The color comes down to a difference in which pigment the flesh produces. Red watermelons are loaded with lycopene, while yellow ones lean on beta-carotene instead, the same compound that gives carrots their color. Taste-wise, yellow watermelon tends to run a touch sweeter and is often described as having a honeyed flavor, which makes the lack of mainstream popularity almost criminal. Farmers markets are usually the best place to find one, since yellow watermelon rarely makes it onto grocery store shelves despite tasting, by many accounts, even better than its red cousin. Quince. Quince looks like a lumpy, fuzzy apple and behaves like nothing else in the produce aisle. Eat it raw and you'll regret it immediately, since raw quince is rock hard, intensely sour, and nearly impossible to bite into. Cook it though, and something remarkable happens. The pale flesh slowly transforms into a deep pink or ruby red color as it simmers, and the flavor mellows into a honeyed, floral sweetness. Quince has been cultivated for so long that some historians believe it, not the apple, was the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden, and the golden apples of Greek mythology may have actually been quinces all along. The word marmalade even traces back to quince, since the original Portuguese preserve that inspired the name, marmelada, was made specifically from quince pulp long before oranges took over the recipe. Yellow passion fruit. Yellow passion fruit is the louder, more tropical sibling of the smaller purple variety. It grows bigger, produces more juice per fruit, and thrives in hot, humid climates where purple passion fruit struggles. Crack one open and you'll find a slippery mass of seeds surrounded by an intensely tart, aromatic pulp that's often used to flavor everything from cocktails to yogurt. The vine itself is a beast, capable of climbing 15 feet or more in a single growing season, and its flowers are so elaborate and layered that early Spanish missionaries used them as a teaching symbol for the crucifixion, which is where the fruit's dramatic name actually comes from. Each part of the flower was assigned religious meaning, from the 10 petals representing the apostles to the coiled tendrils symbolizing the whips used during the crucifixion, turning a simple vine flower into a full visual sermon. Cantaloupe. Technically a musk melon rather than a true melon relative of watermelon, cantaloupe earns its spot on this list thanks to its warm, golden orange-yellow rind and flesh. The netted tan webbing on the outside isn't decoration. It's a natural response to the fruit's rapid growth as the rind cracks slightly and heals over into that signature rough texture. Cantaloupe is roughly 90% water, making it one of the most hydrating fruits you can eat. Yet it still delivers a serious hit of vitamin A thanks to its beta-carotene content. The name itself traces back to Cantalupo, a former papal estate near Rome, where the fruit was reportedly first grown in Europe after arriving from Armenia. American cantaloupe and European cantaloupe aren't even the same variety botanically, despite sharing a name, which is why a cantaloupe eaten in France can taste noticeably different from one grown in the United States.